Peppa Pig's house always seemed like a safe place, warm and cozy. But none of its inhabitants even suspected what dark secrets were hidden here, behind the familiar walls and cheerful children's laughter. Daddy Pig secretly opens a hidden safe in his office late at night. Some secrets are better kept in darkness. Inside the safe lies a strange green Labubu toy with glowing red eyes. Ancient things are not always harmless. Green Labubu begins to glow with mystical light in the darkness. The awakening began this night. Daddy Pig slams the safe shut and quickly leaves, not noticing the glow, but some doors can no longer be closed. The next morning, Peppa notices strange sounds from Daddy's office. The silence of the house is broken forever. Green Labubu penetrates the dreams of the whole family through walls. Nightmares come to those who don't expect them. George wakes up screaming, seeing green shadows in his room. Children's fears become reality. Mummy Pig finds wet green footprints all over the house. Something walks here at night. Green Labubu appears in mirrors, watching the family. Reflections no longer show the truth. Daddy Pig tries to open the safe, but the lock won't budge. Some secrets choose their own time. Green energy seeps through the cracks of the safe, filling the office. Ancient power demands freedom. The whole family gathers in the living room, feeling a strange presence. Fear unites even the bravest. Green Labubu materializes in the middle of the room with burning eyes. Meeting with darkness is inevitable. The toy begins to grow, becoming bigger and more frightening. The size of evil has no limits. Green light fills the entire house, changing it forever. The house no longer belongs to the living. The family tries to escape, but doors and windows are locked from inside. Escape is impossible from your own home. Green Labubu whispers ancient spells in an unknown language. Words of power sound in silence. Daddy Pig realizes the toy was cursed from the very beginning. Some purchases cost too much. Green energy absorbs the family's memories of happy days. The past disappears in green fog. Labubu vanishes, leaving the house forever changed. But his presence remains everywhere. The family wakes up in the morning, not remembering the night's events. Memory is a fragile thing. In Daddy's office, the safe stands open and empty. But something is still watching. Green eyes glow from every dark corner of the house. Some guests stay forever. The deleted episode of Peppa Pig. The porcelain doll. Peppa finds an old, dusty toy box in the attic. Inside is a large doll with a porcelain face, but it doesn't have a face, just a smooth white oval. "What a strange doll," says Peppa, looking at her. George looks at the doll with apprehension and hides behind his mother. At night, it seems to Peppa that the doll is looking at her. She hears quiet whispers from her room, even though no one is there. The next morning, the doll is in a different place. Peppa tries to get rid of the doll, but it always comes back. One day, while playing with George, Peppa draws the doll's face with a marker pen. At first, it's funny, but at night, the face on the doll changes. Now it's an evil grimace with sharp teeth and glowing red eyes. Peppa is terrified. She realizes that the doll is alive and something bad is happening. She runs to Mama Piggy, but she doesn't believe her. At night, Peppa wakes up from the cold. She sees a doll by her bed. The doll stretches its porcelain hand towards her. Peppa screams, but no one comes. In the morning, Peppa disappears. George is playing alone in the garden, but he is no longer grunting with joy. He holds a faceless doll in his hands. Piggy's mom and dad are standing at the window, their faces full of despair. Their voices are barely audible. "Where is our Peppa?" The Pig family went on vacation to an old house in the middle of the forest. The house creaked with every step, and the trees outside the window didn't move even in the wind. Peppa and George were playing in the nursery. The parents were preparing food in the kitchen. At first, everything was going well, but in the evening, George noticed something outside the window.
He is already here,
he whispered. That night, George saw a silhouette of a strange tree through the window. He went outside to look at it. It was a mistake. In the morning, George was gone. Mom cried. Dad turned pale. The police didn't answer, so the parents went into the forest to look for him. They told Peppa not to go anywhere and not to open the door for anyone. Peppa was left alone. The parents walked along a creepy trail and ended up deep in the forest. Suddenly, they came across what had caused the nighttime sounds. A huge tree with arms and legs. Eyes and a creepy smile stood and looked at them. Meanwhile, Peppa was sitting in the living room. Suddenly, the TV turned on by itself. On screen was their forest. The camera slowly zoomed in on something between the trees. It was her parents hanging upside down. Then static and silence. Suddenly, the lights in the house went out. Fear gripped Peppa, but staying inside was dangerous. The monster knew where she was. Peppa tried to run through the forest to find help, but it had become denser than during the day. She walked along a trail and suddenly saw it. A creature resembling a tree. Tall, thin, yellow eyes, a huge mouth. It was staring directly at her.
Peppa, your family has been waiting.
Peppa and George decided to take a walk in the forest and stumbled upon an old, abandoned house. It looked very gloomy. Broken windows, overgrown bushes, creaky door. Inside, it was dark and cold. Cracked portraits hung on the walls. Their eyes seemed alive. Suddenly, it became dark outside the window. At that moment, a strange woman appeared. The owner of the house. Her face was pale, and her eyes were cold and frightening. She smiled strangely and said,
Welcome. You shouldn't have come here.
Suddenly, she began to change. Her face distorted. Her eyes shone with bright red light, and something black flowed out of them. Peppa tried to run, but the door slammed shut by itself. The demon owner grabbed Peppa and George with her long claws. Their screams disappeared into the darkness. Everything around started to distort. The house's owner dragged the children into her dark basement. Peppa and George were tied up. Their mouths were covered with rags. The owner was boiling something murky in a huge cauldron and muttered,
Soon I will enjoy this.
Peppa turned around and saw Susie and Rebecca. They were also tied up and trembling with fear. Suddenly, a familiar, sinister whisper sounded. The door opened. Standing in the doorway was Evie, with tentacles and a sinister smile. She grabbed the house owner with one of her tentacles and swallowed her with a sinister sound. Afterward, Evie smiled sweetly but continued to radiate horror. The children were scared. They already knew what awaited them. Evie wasn't full yet and was planning to fix that.